Good afternoon, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. It is my honor to welcome you to our forum and our session today, leveraging AI and emerging technologies to drive innovation and economic impact in space. The space sector is transforming in an extraordinary pace. Emerging technologies, especially AI, are becoming central to how we design satellites, manage missions, and generate value from space data. They are shaping the economics of space by lowering costs, enabling autonomy, and creating new opportunities for collaboration and investment. For the UAE, AI is not just a tool, it is a strategic priority. We are embedding AI into the very fabric of our national space program. We are working to ensure that space innovation creates a broader economic and societal impact. This session reflects on our mission to foster dialogue at the intersection of policy, technology, and economic development. With that, allow me to welcome our panelists for today, His Excellency Salim Al-Marri, Director General of Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center, His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Al-Ahbabi, Senior Advisor for Space and Cyber Technologies at Edge Group, and Dr. Ilyas Tsotstian, Chief Researcher at the Technology Innovation Institute. So let's begin with our discussion. First question, Your Excellency Salim, how is artificial intelligence being integrated into mission control, robotic systems, and future interplanetary operations to enhance performance and autonomy? Maybe you can give us, first, you can start with the basics, maybe an introductory of how AI is actually being embedded in the space design, and then you can give us a more deeper overview with regards to your center activation of AI technologies in your missions as well.
Sure, thank you very much, Fatima, and good afternoon, everybody. I'll start with just giving a very quick overview of what it is that we do at the Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center. So we're really focused on 5 main areas, and AI does play a role in most of these 5 areas. So the first area is satellite systems development, and this is really what the Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center started with about 20 years ago, which was the ability to build and launch and operate useful satellites for our country. Mainly Earth observation satellites. Today we operate very high resolution optical and SAR satellites that are being built in the United Arab Emirates. We started this program about 20 years ago with collaboration with South Korea, and we still cooperate with our partners in Satiric Initiative there. Our second area was Mars exploration jointly with the UAE Space Agency, and we launched our Mars mission, Mars Hope, in 2020. The third area, which is also very important for us, is human spaceflight. And that's really, I think, a big goal for our country, that we become a major player in human spaceflight exploration and be an active player and have a sustainable program where every couple of years, one of our 4 astronauts is going on a useful, meaningful space mission for the country. Our fourth area is moon exploration. And this is where we're building small robotic rovers and sending them to the moon. We launched Rashid Rover 1 a couple of years ago, along with our partners iSpace. Unfortunately, that lander and rover crashed on the surface of the moon. Now we are launching our second one next year with our partners, and hopefully we're able to successfully land this time. The fifth and final one is the Gateway Space Station, which is part of the Artemis program. And this is really one of our largest cooperations, I think, for MBRC and for the United Arab Emirates. So we have a government-to-government strategic partnership with the United States signed with NASA, where the UAE will provide the airlock system for the Gateway Space Station. And in turn, we'll have seats for our astronauts to go to the space station when it's operational in the 2030s. So that's very exciting for us, that from starting 20 years ago to looking to the future, where you'll have Emirati astronauts orbiting and working alongside their international colleagues around the moon. Now, to go to your question, which is about AI, I think AI plays a role in many different areas. Today, we use it a lot. It can help us for programming, can help us for analysis. But I think one key area that I'll focus on is on the data itself. So a lot of our data is used for town planning, environment, different applications. There are hundreds of applications that can be used, and every entity has something different. So when we bring AI and machine learning to come in and help support us, it could be in space where we are analyzing that data and downloading what's useful, so we're more efficient in downloading the data that we require, or on the ground where we're able to get an image, quickly analyze it, get the data that we require, and give it to our customers within minutes or rather than hours or days. So I think AI is a game changer in terms of utilization of satellite data in a more efficient way for our government. Thank you.
Okay. Maybe adding more to, maybe a follow-up question to what you've just mentioned. You tapped into the utilization of data for with regards to AI. What about the satellite design? Your center did work on several satellite missions. So if we look at the optimization of satellite design with using AI, definitely it has an impact on boosting operational efficiency, reducing the development and operational costs. So as a center, are you looking into that perspective with the future missions you're planning?
Absolutely. So I think something that we're looking at very specifically is 3D printing. And we have just procured very large 3D printers that can, of course, help us in terms of making our manufacturing process much easier. But the unique thing about these is that you can also design the components using AI to get the most efficient design. And then, of course, because you have a 3D printer, you're able to quickly print those, test them out. And AI also does a lot of the testing for you, so that at least what you get is the most efficient design going forward. So we've seen private companies in the UAE do that. We are partnering with them to bring that capability to MBRC and shift that towards our satellite systems development. So whatever we can design using AI, make it more efficient using AI, and then print it and send it to space.
That's amazing. Maybe now let's move to Dr. Mohammed. If we look at how AI is transforming raw space data into actionable intelligence across industries, maybe if you can reflect on that with regards to your organization, what are your plans with regards to leveraging this opportunity?
Okay, thank you, Fatma, and a pleasure to be here on this panel. I would like to say a few words about Fada.
Yes.
So Fada is a UAE national space company that established 1 year ago. Fada belongs to Edge Group. Edge Group is one of the fastest growing defense group of company. And it has around 35 companies and more than 13,000 people. So the group, figure out that Fada is the next frontier. Then this Fada established last year. Fada is mandated to build the sovereign space capabilities in UAE and also provide advanced secure space solutions. So the DNA of Fada is a strategic partnership, either locally or regionally or internationally. Fada now has active projects. It's less than 1 year old, but alhamdulillah, thanks for the space agency and other space entities in UAE, Fada has some contracts. When it comes to AI, Fada for the first phase is focusing on Earth observation. Could be optical, could be SAR, could be other payloads. And this is where AI, as His Excellency Salim mentioned, AI is a tool that can, of course, speed the acquisition of data. When it comes to data analytics, AI can do this in a fast way, and also can provide easy interface between the data and the end user. And we have a product developed jointly with the TII called Tactica. Tactica is a tool that the end user or the user can talk to it as when you talk to ChatGPT to give you information about a location. So if you want to ask, okay, what's the activities in a certain location in last week, then that tool will provide you with information, even will give you alarm if there is abnormal activities in that location. So this is all AI. AI also is now within Fadla because onboard processing is a key, especially to speed the process when you relay the data from satellite to ground. This is very critical. Time is very critical for some users. They get the information. So it's part of the future design. When they design satellite, they consider onboard processing and also on data analytics. So I think AI will be utilized in Earth observation for sure, both in the space segment and the ground segment.
That's amazing. Maybe you've mentioned that you're a 1-year-old entity, yes. So you're just established, which means that you're currently looking into creating successful partnerships locally as well as internationally, yeah, sure. And most importantly, having new projects to be implemented. You've mentioned Tactica as one of the examples where you might utilize AI. Maybe further questions, how can platforms such as Tactica or maybe other projects that you will be tapping into in the future will be utilizing AI, such as for Earth observation, satellite imagery, or even mission design for any of the other projects that you're currently working on?
So we are working on a project with the space agency called SERP. It's a constellation of radar satellites. Sure, in the future, there will be a lot of data. Yes. So AI will play a critical role just to process that data, provide the end user with the information they want in a timely fashion. I'm sure AI now is embraced by most of leading space nations, companies. And I think UAE is well set for that, journey. TII is working on a large LLM platform. UAE is embracing, AI, and I think the space sector within UAE will utilize, the country commitment and also investment in AI. This is, of course, I think, the future will be. Of course, everybody is talking about AI now. Yes. And I think it's going to be utilized in space.
So, Dr. Ilyas, Dr. Mohammed said where the country is investing heavily on the AI technologies, and since you're from an organization that is focusing on innovation, technology innovation, that leads me to my question. How can the integration of quantum computing and AI revolutionize problem solving for deep space missions and satellite operations?
Thank you very much, Fatima. It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks to the organizers for setting up this panel. Before answering your question, let me give a few words about TII for the audience. So we are a 5-year-old organization. Our mandate is to strategically position Abu Dhabi as a global R&D hub, focused on applied R&D. Our second strategic objective is to contribute to the knowledge economy of the country. So we need to make sure that we solve real problems, real challenges. So we don't do research just for the sake of the research. And the third thing is to establish a strong collaborations with entities, organizations, research institutes across the world in order to help us move faster. So TII consists of 9 research centers covering a wide spectrum of research areas from AI, quantum, cryptography, advanced materials, renewable energy, sustainable energy, propulsion in space, that I'm the chief researcher of, cryptography, autonomous robotics. So we have a wide spectrum of, let's say, capabilities that cover most of the innovative technologies. When it comes to quantum and AI and how these can help us into the future for deep space missions and planning, quantum computers is a relatively new area. It's mostly on the R&D phase. There is a strong, however, trend to invest heavily into this technology, because imagine a future where you can solve the most complex mathematical problem in a few seconds. So that gives immense power to the people that use that information. Before we reach that phase, however, there is a strong emphasis on quantum algorithms, quantum mechanics. So we see several space organizations, entities across the world to invest heavily on testing different algorithms for solving complex problems. Quantum computing is going to be heavily tasked of working with a vast amount of data for doing calculations, for estimating optimum solutions. It can handle complex optimization problems that can translate into mission planning. There are indications that through quantum computing, there is a potential to reduce the time that is needed for mission planning by 90%, which gives a significant advantage. But quantum computing, if you blend it with AI, AI is a very powerful tool and capability. We see bold investments from the country, major deals and collaborations with different countries and stakeholders. So AI currently is going to lead this transition until we reach to quantum computing. And then we're going to have a combination of the two where we can have quantum computing to solve complex optimization problems that might be related to space mission planning, while AI, which is very powerful of learning patterns from data, can be used to make real-time decisions. This is not enough, however. It has to be mentioned that we have to make investments in infrastructure for the future. So in UAE, we launched almost 1.5 years ago the Abu Dhabi Quantum Optical Ground Station. This is it was the first in the region and the largest in the region. So that gives a flavor about the, let's say, future vision of the country and the organization. We also invest in quantum key distribution for safe communications. This is something that we have demonstrated at the latest GITEX event with UAE Space Agency. So this gives a flavor of that the UAE is investing into having a secure and quantum-ready infrastructure today, and in order to prepare for the advancement of technology when the quantum computing is going to be available.
Okay. So you covered maybe the first fold where we looked at the optimization of systems using AI. What about the autonomous systems? So we can definitely use AI to empower autonomous systems. So what do you foresee as the future for spacecrafts and rover missions? And how TII is specifically contributing towards that objective?
Yes, AI is it's a very powerful tool. We have invested a lot in this technology. We have currently one project called Spacecraft AI. It covers different segments of the operations. So when we're talking about spacecrafts or rovers, one of the activities is to develop hardware, AI-enabled hardware and software. These are essentially digital processing units for the Emirates mission to the asteroid lander. So we have a team of UAE engineers and researchers, along with our world-class experts, leading that activity, which is fascinating to work on a real project that you're going to work on a lander that's going to be in a mission for several years. It gives unique challenges. So the AI capability there is that we can use this technology to do onboard classification, compression, and we transmit only what is necessary for the spacecraft.
That's nice. Maybe now a follow-up question to all panelists. As the space economy grows more connected, how can AI-driven cybersecurity solutions ensure the resilience and safety of space assets and data infrastructure? So maybe Dr. Ilyas, and then we can move to the next panelist as well.
Yes. When it comes to cybersecurity, we don't realize how complex the future might be. What do I mean by that? The AI is a very useful tool that everyone can use. to, let's say, to detect anomalies in the space, let's say, ecosystem, something that is very hard for humans to do. On a second note, to respond to these actions, to this information. And the third point is to predict maybe failures. So AI by its own is not enough. So you need a lot of governance, you need audits, you need human oversight at every step in the process. This is where cybersecurity comes and plays an important role. Currently, there are challenges about what's going to happen about all this sensitive information being transmitted from one system to the other. And even as we talk today, there are, let's say, sensitive information where adversaries are collecting that information. There is the known, let's say, pattern of, harvest now, decrypt later, with the, let's say, hope that these adversaries will be able to decrypt the information when the post-quantum, let's say, computing era is going to be, active. So that means that post-quantum cryptography is an essential tool to help us protect and make sure that the space, let's say, ecosystem is an ecosystem that is characterized by trust and resilience. Without that, everything that we produce, everything that we send, it's prone to be used for wrong purposes.
Thank you. Your Excellency Salim.
Well, I think Dr. Ilyas really covered the majority of that topic. I think what I will add is that, as you mentioned, AI on its own is not enough. So we're always looking at the way AI can make us more efficient, make us faster. And I think in this domain, that same rule applies, basically.
So from security side, within it, there is a cluster called Space and Cyber Technology. So Fada belong to that cluster, but they have a sister companies who is focusing on cybersecurity. So this is, of course, will enhance, I think, the system, the design, the product that eventually will be out through Fada. I think when it comes to AI and how, cybersecurity, I think AI can help to identify probably, certain gaps, backdoors, but at the same time, there's a race between the good guys and the bad guys. So the bad guys probably also will utilize AI
Definitely.
to find certain, niche or certain, access to data. One of the things that it's promising is this quantum technology, I think, especially with TII is working on and, the quantum key distribution. I think there will be very soon a test from space to ground testing, the key distribution. But I think it's race forever, between cybersecurity. But I think AI, probably we need to be more optimistic. But as His Excellency and Dr. Ilyas, it's not enough. The human being also is considered to be a key factor in cybersecurity.
Yes. Maybe last question to all. I'm looking for more of a strategic answer. Looking ahead, what do you see as the biggest opportunity? Maybe if we look at it from the UAE perspective, we understand that the downstream applications, or it's considered maybe a promising market for our industry. But strategically looking, what is your perspective? Maybe as an individual organization, but then for the entire space economy, how do you see it as an opportunity raising in the future? So, Dr. Mohammed?
I think it's space is big enough to accommodate, many activities. I think what UAE, the space sector in UAE is mature. I think it's diverse. The foundation and the bases are there. Space agency, through regulation, through fund, through monitoring and promoting and facilitating, the growth of the space sector, is provide, opportunity to all space entities. I think also what MBRC is doing is so great, in terms of space exploration, in terms of human space flight. So all this collectively, I think it will advance, UAE space sector to future, opportunities. I'm really optimistic, and I think tomorrow is better than today.
Thank you very much. I think when we look at the future, when we look at the UAE as a country, or even if we look at entities such as my own, Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center, we're relatively small. And how are we able to achieve large objectives with a smaller amount of people and do those things more efficiently and quickly? And what we are looking at in the next 5 years is to position AI to really help us in that area. So how can we achieve very big missions with 200 people? AI can play a big role in that. So if we look 5 years down the line, or if we look at exploration missions currently, you might send a rover to the surface of the moon for 2 weeks operation. You'll send a rover to Mars, as the US is doing, for 2 or 3 years operation. If you had sent a human to the moon, he could do what that rover is doing in 2 weeks in probably an hour. And if you send a human to do what a rover on Mars is doing for 3 years, it might take him 2 or 3 weeks. So a human is much more efficient than a robotic system that is managed remotely with the lag, the time delay, etc. So if we fast forward 5 years down the line where you're sending systems to Mars that are very efficient, are AI-driven, don't have to keep communicating back and forth, and if they're able to take decisions and take actions quickly, then maybe they're able to do more than what our robotic systems are doing today. So that's what we hope to do with our smaller systems, have them powered and independent, so they're able to take, let's say, decisions and be much more efficient.
Thank you.
From a technology point of view, I would suggest that 2 or 3 technologies that are key. Today, we're talking about technologies like AI, quantum, cybersecurity, and if we look back, let's say 10 years ago, these were not, let's say, making the headlines. But in the future, I think all these 3 technologies are going to merge in order to serve a purpose. Now we're talking about space. We're going to talk about, how we operate within space, from detection of debris, from planning missions, from, let's say, leveraging the power of AI or quantum computing and making sure that the ecosystem is also safe. I just want to, give another example that I forgot previously. So recently, 1 week ago, in Abu Dhabi, there was an agreement between TII and NVIDIA to establish a joint laboratory, an AI and robotics laboratory. It's the first in the region. The focus is mostly on applied robotics and AI. So that gives you a flavor of, let's say, the direction that the country is taking into leveraging AI for applied use cases. Of course, tools like, LLMs, ChatGPT, and other, capabilities help us go faster. Quantum can make us smarter because it solves problems that it takes ages to solve. And cybersecurity are going to make, the entire ecosystem more safe for everyone.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Maybe if I were to summarize your inputs in 2 words, that would be optimization and efficiency. Now, we'll open the floor to the audience questions. I'll be selecting the toughest questions for our panelists. So, we'll start with the easiest. No, I'll be kind. Is the UAE seeking to partner with other organizations on research on AI applications for space? So this is just an open question to any of our panelists. Should you like to answer?
I'll give a few comments, and I think probably Doctor. Yes, we are. So I think currently we sign a lot of agreements with different countries on how we can cooperate using data from our satellites. The most recent one was in Colombia. So we signed with our Colombian colleagues an agreement on using our radar and optical data in the forests and jungles of Colombia. And then, of course, AI is a big part of that. So to make that more accessible to them, to give them the tools, we can jointly develop those tools or work with the tools that we've developed. So we've recently started including that as part of our cooperation suite. So I think that's one example, but we have many going forward that when we distribute our data, sometimes we're actually not giving them the data, we're giving them the result from the analysis. So it's really just the information that they want rather than a satellite image.
That's amazing. Maybe question for Dr. Ilyas. Can you share how quantum computing AI can increase design and implementation efficiency in space engineering and perhaps military applications?
Okay. So I can just give a simple example. Take, for example, Navier-Stokes equations. They do not have a closed form solution. We have recently, explored this ecosystem of challenging, let's say, setting up a problem like that with quantum algorithms. So the feedback that we get is that you can reach to a solution much faster of complex, let's say, fluid phenomena to have a solution. And that can accelerate every type of simulation that today needs a lot of compute just for a single, let's say, result. If you take, let's say, a complicated system, you do some thermal analysis, you put all the components, all the geometries. In the most efficient computer, it might take you, let's say, 10 hours. Now with quantum, that makes it, in 1 second. So that gives you an insight that you can create a very big library of solutions that you can then push through AI to learn from this data and come up with the optimum solution for your system that you're designing. Now for the defense part, whatever we're doing is dual use. So space, the technologies that we are developing can serve one sector and the other.
Thank you, Doctor. This is an interesting question. So how should accountability be defined when AI makes critical decisions in space? For anyone. Maybe this is more of a policy related question. So Dr. Mohammed, I know you love these questions.
Okay. I think it's going to be hard, but I think with the AI itself and other measures, probably, maybe the industry or the technology can play to avoid any mistake. When it comes to regulation, I'm sure the space agency, and especially Fatma, will try to find the solution.
I have a solution. We can just fire the AI.
This is based on my humble knowledge. This is one of the critical, maybe topics. Sorry, now I'll be a panelist, one of the speakers. Maybe this is, maybe this is one of the hot topics that is currently being discussed. It is fairly difficult to determine the accountability and maybe the ethical part of utilizing AI. So, so we'll see what the future holds with regards to that. This is a question for you, Your Excellency. Which emerging technologies will have the fastest impact on UAE space sector in the next 24 months?
That's a good question. I think space things tend to be slower. So I think 24 months is, for me, 2 years. I wouldn't see a huge change. But what I would say, if I focus specifically on what we're doing, it's what I already mentioned, which is 3D printing. So I think within the next 24 months, we will see a lot of 3D printed materials, 3D printed at MBRC, and then put as part of our prototyping and as part of our systems, whether they are rovers or satellites.
Dr. Ilyas, do you have any input with regards to that?
For us, the focus for the next 24 months is, split into 2 or 3 things. So one of them is to make sure that the team that is involved with the design of the lander makes it on time, because the schedules are really tight for the emergency mission to the asteroid. So this is one big, objective and milestone. The other one, we're focusing on rocket propulsion. So we're also very busy with making sure that we have everything ready in terms of infrastructure, people, software, hardware, integration capabilities in order to be able to demonstrate some of the technologies in UAE. And the third thing is to implement AI across all the activities of what we do, as much as we can.
Maybe last question. If you were to choose reliability or speed, which of these will be the most one making money for the applications of AI? So, which is more important? Reliability of AI powered systems or the speed of the applications itself of utilizing AI?
I will say it depends on the cost. So if cost is, the most important metric, then speed is, we have to go with speed. If cost is not the number one objective, then reliability is very key for our sector. I mean, we cannot, let's say, just send technologies to space without knowing if reliable enough to make it and succeed to the mission. So it's a combination of both. There is an optimum point.
Yeah, I think I would go with reliability. I think in terms of space, or in terms of AI, I think you still need that human element. So the more reliable it is, the more we can trust it, that would be more important for us.
Dr. Mohammed.
Yeah, I think, if you look to the global space, activities, people try to find the technical solutions before they think about the legal impact. They say, okay, this is, will come later, because it's hard to, have a, agreement about, a lot of space, challenges. So I think, as I mentioned, I think all the companies, the nations, will continue doing technical, advancing AI, advancing robotics, quantum. Then I think on the hope that the legal side will be solved later.
Thank you, Doctor. So we reached the end of our session for today. Thank you to our distinguished panelists for sharing such forward-looking insights, and to our audience for your engagement. The main message today is clear. AI is no longer just an enabler. It's becoming the foundation of how we innovate and create economic value in space. With that, I thank His Excellency Salim Marri, Dr. Mohammed Lahbabi, and Dr. Ilyas for joining us today. And to our audience, I hope you enjoyed the rest of the GNF sessions. Thank you very much.